If you enjoy farm podcasts, then tune into Carrot Cash Flow for all things farm business. Join us as we explore the latest trends, tips, and stories from market farmers running businesses just like yours. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or just starting out, our podcast has something for everyone. Listen in and grow with us. Available on all major podcast platforms. Don't miss out. Subscribe to Carrot Cash Flow today.
Coming from that no-till angle, I have a friend who's a soil scientist who does work with kind of the Elanium soil food web, that sort of thing. He came and did some tests and was like, oh, you're bacterially dominated. You don't have enough fungal activity in your soil, so on and so forth. How are these microbes and these fungi in the soil actually, how are they partnering with the things that we're adding, whether it's the molybdenum or the silicon or just standard NPK, and how are they working with it, or how may they be fighting against it or having to compensate for the lack of certain things?
Well, remember, I'm a soils guy, not a biological guy, but
Gotcha.
With that said, things like phosphorus is made available, soluble, very much by microbial activity. So, and I think I couldn't tell you today what this guy just told you. How much bacteria you have versus fungi. My goal is, at least what I have seen, it seems to be the best if I can be in that 6 to 6.5 pH range.
Gotcha.
I got bacteria. I've got enough acidity for the fungi. And as long as I can do the balance to get the aeration and keep them happy, they both seem to be doing pretty well. But the biology side of it is extremely important, especially for phosphorus availability, and making any of this organic complex stuff available. Like the blood meal or feather meal, you've got to have that. But generally speaking, if you have, like we talked about with wood chips, if you go to a high carbon source, the microbes will get first dibs before your plants do. I used to do a lot of dairy nutrition work, and I always told my clients that I'm not feeding that cow. I'm feeding the microbes in the cow, because in the rumen, they're breaking it down, making stuff available. So it's a matter of, same thing with the soil. I mean, I like doing dairy nutrition until the population guys got tired of milking cows, and the cows operations got to be 2,000, 3,000, too big. But I could see response with cows in 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
With soils, it takes me a year or so to really see the response. So it's much slower, and maybe that's a good thing. But that's why I like the dairy nutrition work so well, because I can see whether I'm making progress or going backwards.
And so you're kind of essentially saying that those microbes have a role to play, but it's not the end all be all. It's not like we want to crank those numbers up as high as we can, and they'll solve all your problems. They'll fill in the nutrient gaps. Because I know I've heard those claims, is that like, oh, we don't use any fertilizer anymore because we've built up this microbial population or whatever, that those things are not necessary. I know you're not a biologist, you're a soil scientist, so we might be getting kind of out of the weeds on that, but are you?
Well, I've heard that too. I have heard guys saying that all I have to do is get the biology in there. Well, for pity's sakes, we've been sucking out all these trace elements for 50 to 100 years and not replacing them until the last 10, 15, 20 years. So, and then you add on to that, we've had soil erosion because of poor tillage practices. And then you take crop removal, and the microbes can't make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
You've got to put some of that stuff back. And I mean, if that's what somebody wants to do, that's their choice. That's not for me to criticize them, but I don't like that. I think the best thing you can do is at least put back crop removal plus 20, 30%.
And I suppose that if you're doing proper testing, annual testing or so, and if you can see that your levels are balancing, that your soils are looking good, and you're not needing to additionally supplement those sort of things, then theoretically, if the testing is showing that everything is good, then maybe it does work. But if your soil testing is showing that things are extremely out of balance, then it would you're much more better off to begin to get those things back into balance while also beginning to incorporate and maybe encourage some microbial population in the soil.
Exactly. And the other thing that you look at is, okay, the guy that's doing this, what's his yields? I mean, I work with both organic and commercial growers, and I'd say 9 out of the commercial growers are outproducing by volume of yield. And so they have a much bigger demand for those nutrients. And so, you've got to look at what you are expected to take out. If you're not under pressure to produce so many tons per acre. I mean, I got commercial tomato growers that are 40, 50 ton per acre of tomatoes on dry land, no irrigation.
Wow.
Those things really suck out a lot of nutrition. And the other thing is looking at if that's the case and you're happy with the yields, you think you're getting fabulous yields. Okay, well then look at the tissue analysis. I can tell you that I run lots of tissue analysis, and I've run lots over the time that I've been consulting. And 90 to 100% of the time, I'm deficient in zinc. Same thing, 90 to 100% of the time, I'm deficient in copper. Those two things I'm virtually always deficient in. Manganese, maybe 50, 60% of the time. And that's also in corn that we don't expect to be a high manganese responder. So, you check those things out. And what I do is I've done some work with trying to put together foliar feeding programs that match these tissue analysis. And we get some fabulous results on yield increases because we're supplying some of those things. Now, just because I'm deficient in copper and zinc, if I don't have the nitrogen there to go along with it, you're not going to see any response. So it's a matter of looking at the total profile of the nutrition work.
Today's episode is brought to you by Modern Grower, a proud retailer of the Sumi Soaker system. The Sumi Soaker system is an irrigation game changer. It offers multiple advantages for market gardeners. Even gentle watering without dry spots common with wobblers. The system is lightweight and portable, so you can use it with quick rotation crops. It's low maintenance with no parts to break or clog. It's versatile. You can use it for direct seeding, transplants, and cover crops. And it's very cost effective compared to overhead options. And maybe one of its best and most unique features is it can put down water in a rectangular pattern, which is very different than rotating sprinklers that leave circular patterns, often with dry corners and overwatered centers. If you want to learn more about the Sumi Soaker system, use the link below or visit us at shop.moderngrower.co.